Can you tell us for how many years have you been working with the Striking Attitude group?
Gosh, I can't even think actually. One of the first projects, I don't remember, 8 years maybe, 9 years. Not the very first project that Caroline did, which was 3 parts iced over, but one of the projects that happened after that. So yeah, quite a fair time.
And what is your professional background?
My professional background is as a dance practitioner, dance artist practitioner, working in community dance education, professional training, working with other practitioners to develop their skills as well. So,
and in the moment when you joined the group, were you part of any other like performances, or were you dancing at that moment?
no, I was lecturing in. I was a course leader for a dance degree at one of the universities in Cardiff, and so I was leading a course, but so I didn't have time to do any other work particularly at that time.
And how do you find this creative process that you were doing throughout these years?
What, this particular year through Zoom or over the whole period of time?
I would say over the whole period of time, but you can also reflect to whatever comes to your
I mean,
mind.
I think that I mean, a lot of my work has been choreographically driven. So I do my own choreography as well, and I've choreographed with other groups, community groups particularly, performed with Shirley professionally when we've worked together. So, so I'm very used to creative work, and that's really my sort of main area of interest, is the creativity. So yeah, Caroline sort of, you know, Caroline has a style of working, and so after that period of time you get used to what she's looking for, or how she likes to work. So it becomes easier the more familiar you become with her style of working. She's great fun to work with, and it's very what's the word, so very supportive, very patient with, because obviously the range of experience of the group, some people who haven't done very much dance or much creative work, to someone like myself or Shirley who've got a lot of experience. So but Caroline manages to gel those different experiences together in a very harmonious way, actually. So yes, it's I mean, that's why I enjoy doing it. It's the creative work and the performance that I enjoy.
And what is your favorite part of the creative process?
Well, I think it's working with other people, you know, coming up with ideas, finding solutions to physical problems, you know, finding ways to express the idea or the stimulus that we've been given. So it's that collaborative aspect of the work which is good fun, and actually sometimes nurturing people who are giving people a bit more confidence if they haven't got so much, and then gradually, you know, sort of working sort of, I suppose, in a way which is equal, yeah, so that we all have a valuable role to play within the, you know, what we produce, really.
And when it comes to a performance, what is in there for you? Like, do you like being on a stage? Like, which part of it do you prefer the most?
Oh, I think they go together. I don't think you can separate the two things, actually. It's the creative process. These are the outcomes, if you like, and this is what we're trying to express at this moment in time, and therefore we want to share that with you in an audience, or a you know, in a, doesn't necessarily have to be a sort of a proper theatrical experience. It could be outdoors or on a film or whatever. So all of those elements, yes, I don't think you can separate the two, actually. I know a lot of people like just doing creative work without the actual performance element, but I think it's very important, and also it's about keeping my skills as a performer intact, if you like, or otherwise it's very easy to get out of the practice.
And is it the communication with the audience? Is it valuable for you and for your practice?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a performing art. If you don't have an audience, if you can't communicate to your audience, there's no point in doing it, really, actually. So it's not an ego trip, let's put it like that. It's very much about, and also I think for this particular group, it's also about cherishing the fact that older dancers, people who are older, actually have a lot to give from a performer audience relationship, and I think that's really important, particularly in these days, actually.
And if you take a look at your career now and before, when you were younger, like, what do you see there in a sense of values and the differences? And
well, I suppose because of my work, which has been very focused in a community, and when I say education, I mean both formal education but informal. You know, I've always believed that you know, dance can offer everybody some enrichment in their lives. And I also, you know, fundamentally believe in that everybody should have an opportunity to dance, to enjoy it in whatever way they want. Not everybody wants to perform, but a lot of people need to be sometimes teased and nurtured into creative work, because that can be a bit intimidating for so a lot of my work has been about those opportunities, and actually seeing people getting so much out of the benefits that dance can offer people. So in a sense, I'm still doing that same thing, you know, that fundamental core value has never gone away, and it never will. I mean, I still run, well, before COVID, I started running a class for older participants myself in West Wales, where I now live. And so yes, I still want to continue in my teaching and my choreographing. And then Caroline gives us the opportunity to perform. And of course, living in West Wales, you know, in some ways, COVID has done me a favour, because I wouldn't be able to be part of the group on a regular basis if they were meeting face to face in Cardiff. So it's allowed me to continue my relationship with the group and to be involved. Although I do find it very frustrating not to be in the room with people.
I see.
But that's what we all have to deal with.
And you mentioned some values like that dance gives you. Can you tell us what do you perceive as these values are?
Are you talking about the values it gives me, or when I work with other people, the values?
You mentioned when you work with other people, the dance gives you opportunity to do.
Well, I think it breaks down a lot of barriers. I think that, you know, you try to treat everybody with respect and equal, that they have a contribution to make to the situation, particularly if you're working creatively. And I think that also it you know, people are able to meet new people who are not, perhaps they might not come across in other circumstances. Obviously there's the physical benefits, the health benefits, there's the whole thing about expressing yourself, using your body as a vehicle for expression. I think all of those benefits for people, and of course they're the things that benefits me as well. You know, when I first discovered dance, when I was training to be a teacher, and I did what was called in the British education system modern educational dance, which was based on Laban's principles. So this was creative work, very improvisation sort of based work. And it was a revelation, and I just warmed to it. This was something, because I've always been very physically active, this was something that really spoke to me. So yeah, so it's it's had its frustrations, but it's also been the most valuable thing, apart from my family, in my life, really, I suppose.
Thank you. And what about can you say what is your favorite piece that you did with striking attitude? Is there something, even like a movement or some piece that you did that really stayed with you through all these years?
The thing about it is a lot of, although Caroline might give us a movement framework sequence, a lot of the movement material, you know, by setting us tasks, we produce ourselves. So I couldn't give you a specific example. I think the Cedar Tree, which is the film that we did, I think that was the last project I was involved in, apart from this one. Some of the work was developed at a time when my mother was quite ill in London, so I wasn't able to be part of the group so regularly and be involved in the project. But the last one that we did, which was the Cedar Tree, was a beautiful film to be involved in. That was outdoors, and it's particularly poignant because one of the members in the group died earlier this year, and so I think that's one of my favourite. And then the other one that we did was, and I can't, it's terrible, I can't remember the name of it now, where we're all on the beach in Ogmore, and it was very, very cold, but it was there was something special about dancing outside by the sea on a beach, and you know, being part of that collaborative effort, if you like. So yeah, and I mean, you know, we have fond memories of a performance we did in Conwy, North Wales, as part of a community dance Wales conference, where we all forgot what we were doing and had to improvise on stage. It was very, very funny, but it went down well. And also we did Caroline doesn't do funny material very often, but this was a particular, the art of taking tea. And it was very, what was the word? Abstract, no, very surreal, and that was very good fun. I really enjoyed that because I could be very, be very exaggerated in my character and the movements that I did. So yeah, that was, I have fond memories of that as well. So yeah, they're all so different.
Is there something that you can show us here now in front of the camera? Some of them.
No, I can't think of anything. Oh dear.
Well, you can just improvise like you did in Congress.
I'm sitting in on by a desk. It's very difficult for me to actually come up with a particular movement. I don't know. I'm not in the right frame of mind. I'm sorry. You can film me tomorrow doing it when we have class, or come back to me another day. I mean, there's, you know, we all have a particular way of moving, and I think sometimes, you know, even though you've got different material or you're set different tasks, you will always resort to your own sort of movement style, your own movement vocabulary. So I do lots of large swingy type movements. So there we are. That's an example.
Thank you. And what motivates you to keep on going? You know, you've had obviously a long career, and like you work for a long time with striking attitudes. What motivates you to keep on dancing and to keep being in this creative process?
Just the sheer joy of it, really. It's almost like feeds you. You know, it's almost like sort of nourishing your body and your soul together in a way. So I would, you know, sometimes I think, oh, you know, I should perhaps just retire gracefully, but I don't think you can. I think when you're sort of so entrenched in dance, it is about that feeling nourished. And even if it's not nourishing me as a performer or a creator, I like working with others so I can nourish them as well. I mean, I'm working with some young dance practitioners in North Wales, not choreographing with them, but we're doing some sort of just development training, and it's really nice to be able to offer them some ideas and advice as to how they then might use when they're working with their different community groups. So that nurturing is both for me, but also I like to for others as well. Excuse me. So
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, is there anything else that you would like to tell us?
No, not really. I mean, I'm very grateful, if you like, to Caroline and Janet, and obviously now yourself, Alexandra, but you know, and to the group of people involved in striking attitudes, because because a lot of the work I do is me giving to other people, and this is for me, and I think that that's probably the most important element that there is, that I'm doing it for myself, for my nourishment. And so yes, I'm you know, it's great to be part of that group, and also just the people involved, you know, they're such fun, you know, good personalities. Yeah, it's a very important social, cohesive, creative group, really.
Thank you so much for your time, and
No,
thank you so
pleasure.
much for this conversation.